How did you get started in photography?
I got my first camera when I was a kid. My dad got a new camera. His Instamatic got passed down to me, and it was just fascinating. I mean, of course, you're what 12, 24 shots at the most, and I still have some of the pictures that I took, with that camera buried somewhere in the house, but I still have a few of those. So I mean, that was always about having a camera around. We always had cameras, whether it was a Polaroid or whether it was an Instamatic. When I was in high school, my dad bought a 35 millimeter camera, and so it's just always been a part of my life.
What do you like to shoot? Or let me ask you this: as you were growing up, did you shoot mostly your family? Did you shoot things, still lifes?
There wasn't anything in particular when we traveled. It was about taking pictures of stuff. As we travel.
Almost like documenting.
Just kind of documenting,
without thinking about it.
Without really thinking about
Yeah.
it. Now I would look at it differently and say, I love a quote that someone made about me in that they said every time they see me, they know history is being documented, and you realize that, as you start, as you get into it and you're doing it, and then along the way, like the picture that you have up there on your screen of Eddie Marshall. He passed last year, and I just happened to be there in the right place, the right time, and able to capture a few shots of him.
I'll go ahead and bring that shot up.
Okay.
So people can see what we're talking about, and we'll also show some more of your shots in a few moments. But I want to talk a little bit more about your introduction to photography in terms of jazz. How did you get involved with becoming a jazz photographer?
It became a part of what I did because it was a matter of documenting. The first time I went to a major jazz event, I went to jazz events I went to my first major jazz event when I was 18 years old. I saw Ella Fitzgerald at the Chicago Jazz Festival in 1981. Many kids my age weren't doing that type of thing, but it was what I wanted to do. But I wasn't really documenting anything then. When I started, the same year that I started my blog in 2002, I took a camera with me and took a few pictures and stuff like that. And then digital was just kind of on the cusp of things back then. So you still were doing film, and you still have to scan everything in. But as, you start using more digital and you can just easily incorporate it into your writing, then it just became a better way of telling the story. It enhanced the story.
Your journalistic skills. Did you go or did you take any classes in that? Now you said blogging, and some people will consider bloggers. It's journalist.
Yeah, it is a journalism. I was always good with it. As far as in high school, I had a really tough teacher, Mrs. Miller, who's still a friend of mine even today. And when I do serious things, I still call her and ask her, and she's like 82, 83 years old now, but I still call her. And I just saw her at my high school reunion last year. So she instilled a lot of great stuff in us that, that we've carried all throughout. So, yeah, that helped me a great deal.
And the photography that you shoot, you saw Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. I saw her about that same period in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay,
She's pretty much still in her prime.
Yes,
Phenomenal.
definitely.
Just phenomenal. As you were growing up, did you know any other photographers other than your family members? I'm just wondering who influenced you.
No. I think I have to say it was primarily my mom and dad, because they both had cameras all the time. So.
Okay, and you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
As you've gotten older, are there people who you think about as photographers?
That are my influence? Goodness, there are just like a ton of photographers in the Bay Area. Ron Davis, and most of them are my friends. Jim Dennis, even artists like James Gales and other Kamau, and just all the people that I've learned from, in the Bay Area over the years.
When you take a photo, are you working on composition? Are you working on style? What's your creative process in taking photos?
You develop a style.
What's your style?
My style is I like to be close up. I like to be, in your face, and I'm looking to capture a moment. I'm looking to catch you doing what you're doing at the heart of doing what you're doing. That's where I want to be.
Great. Now, recently you had an exhibit at the
Jazz Heritage Center.
Center.
Yes.
And we have some of those photos.
Okay.
So we'll just take a look at those
All right.
and get some comments. The first one we saw was of Eddie.
Yes.
And you said that he passed away not too long after this.
A few months after that. Yeah.
So the idea of your documenting people and their work is really important.
It really is. I think it's important for our jazz community.
Tell us about this photo.
This is one of my favorite photos of current, actually. This is actually guitarist Terrence Brewer. And I have been Terrence's photographer and following him around for the last 5 or 6 years. At this particular time, I wanted to capture something different. I have captured his face 1,000 times, got a lot of great pictures of him. But it was during a break. He's sitting there holding his guitar, and I just watched him do that. And I kind of focused in on that and took a picture of it.
And what do you see when you look at this photo?
You know, it's him caressing his guitar. It's like him caressing a small child or holding a small child. So there's just kind of something warm and friendly
I see love
about that. Yeah,
he loves the guitar.
He loves that guitar. He loves what he's doing. John Handy. I mean, he's a Bay Area legend.
And where was this?
This was at Yoshi's last summer. Tammy Hall. Pianist Tammy Hall, one of my favorite piano players.
What is it about this photo that you really like?
One of the things that I like about it is black and white.
And I was going to ask about that because the others were colored. Do you
Yes.
do mostly color or mostly black and white?
I do a mixture of both. You know, I do a mixture of both. And so it's just special to me.
Your idea of capturing a moment seems to really be at work here in terms of her focus and her hand getting ready to go down and one's playing.
In my heart, I'm a wannabe piano player. So particularly with piano players, I really take pride in capturing them and doing what they do. Faye Carroll. Self-explanatory.
Yes.
That was at Night of the Divas.
Night of the Divas,
Yeah.
which was a fundraiser for the Black Coalition on AIDS.
That's from the Jazz Heritage Center Lush Life Gallery at the exhibit that we just had there in February.
I see Natalie Cole.
Natalie Cole.
Where did you shoot that one?
Yoshi's Oakland in 2010. That was a special moment because she's one of my favorites.
Now, we will flip back through some of these. When you just mentioned Natalie Cole, and you mentioned where it was, when it was. Do you remember most of these, like where
Yes,
they
that
were,
was
when
like-
they were, and who they are?
Yes.
Like like a wine.
Yes, that's Frank Jackson. I think that's actually at Yoshi's Oakland or San Francisco, one of the two.
And believe it or not, we only have a couple of minutes. I
Okay.
keep looking and thinking, oh my God, our time is flying.
All right. That's one of my favorites. And it's Denise Perrier. And I love the microphone there. I love the blue in the sky. I love the smokiness. It's at a club down in Burlingame, and they were doing a Cotton Club review. So they had all of that. They had and she's looking up, and the orchestra, the band is upstairs and encased in behind glass. So she's looking up the band during the break, and I just captured that.
And it'll never happen again.
No. I mean, that's the thing about those type of moments. Nicholas Beard was on that same show. And just to look at him holding that mic as such, he looks like a crooner, a soulful, jazzy crooner.
Which he is.
Which he is, right.
Actually, Nicholas and I went to the same school.
That's
Back
right,
in
he's from Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Right.
For a period of time, it was an all-black school.
Okay.
They called Meigs High School.
Were you in the same class?
No, he's a few years ahead of me.
Okay.
And the class before me was the last class to graduate.
Okay.
My class, when I went to the 10th grade, was bused to integrate another school.
Okay.
So the class right before me was the last class to graduate.
Oh, very
I think
cool.
he was in the class before that.
Very cool.
And I didn't know that until I met him here.
Wow. Mary Stallings, I took that in 2010 when she played at Yoshi's Oakland. Love that.
Okay, that's the different photos that we have, and it's almost perfect because we're just about out of time.
All right.
In terms of photography, what keeps you going?
The love of it. Just you're seeking, you're seeking to find something different. You're seeking to learn something new. And every time you pull out that camera, whether it's old equipment, new equipment, in between equipment, you're building your arsenal of equipment. You're building your arsenal of photos.
That's great. It is very difficult to believe, or hard to believe, but our time is up.
All right, we made it.
We made it, and we more than made it. You did a fantastic job. And I'd just like to remind people that they're watching AfroSolo TV, and that I'm Thomas Robert Simpson. We come here on the second and fourth Friday of every month. See you next time.